In Malawi, 1 out of every 3 people is now a youth aged between 10 and 24. That is nearly 4.2 million such youths in the country. There are various issues affecting young people, adolescent girls even more so, which of late have become an area of focus in Malawi and other developing countries. Adolescent girls continue to face countless challenges in their lives. The challenges range from social, economic, and health-related outcomes that are not only linked to negative attitudes and behaviors by the girls themselves, but also as a consequence of complex factors such as poverty, cultural practices, and gender inequalities. In traditional authority Katuli in Mangochi and Masache in Chikwawa, the impact areas for the UN Joint Program on Adolescent Girls, also known as JPAG, teenage pregnancies are very high. There are a lot of adolescent girls out of school, and violence against adolescent girls is widespread.
There were really a number of problems in the area. I can talk of 3 or 4 problems. One of them is school dropout. Many girls did not go to school. They started school, but they dropped out on the way. Some did not even go to school. Early pregnancies were very common, early marriages, and most of the girls had nothing to do. As a result, they would indulge into sex. So these are some of the main problems that were there in the area. To be specific, sub-TA massage.
19-year-old Jennifer Macheka is one of the many girls who were forced into early marriage as a consequence of poverty, culture practices, and gender inequalities.
Ndangane Jennifer Macheka. Ndinakwadwa ndilwa ngono ndinizaka 12. Bambo anga nandisandilwa ngono. Pazaka 12 makande abambo anga apwawo. Dukana avo vila ku school amandikaneza namagwira zinchito zapakomo. Ana vila ku school. Lubanga chibweza nangu zabasi kwaridwa.
At only 12 years old, Jennifer gave birth to a baby girl. Because of being so young, her pregnancy and birth were not easy. Immediately after giving birth to her child, Jennifer fell pregnant again and gave birth a second time.
Chaka 13 ndokutenga so mimba ya mwana winayo navurika nayenso kusokera zipangizo mamuna pakajaye kuthawa kubwereranso ndi mimba yesu achitatu mamuna janabwereranso kunyengera bunobuno kutenganso mimba kwambaso kutani kuthawa paka mwana ndabereka paka padale pano nimapita kuchire kadula nkhuni kuyanika zikoma nimapita kagulisa kusamala nangaja.
In both Mangochi and Chikwawa, girls experienced gender-based violence. Overall, just over 41% of the girls had experienced sexual violence, with more girls in Mangochi experiencing sexual violence than in Chikwawa. Slightly over half of the girls experienced physical violence. And overall, 60% experienced emotional violence of being shouted at and being called names. However, through JPAG community members such as Group Village Headman Konzere are also playing a role in changing old traditions and people's perceptions and behaviors that work against girls' rights.
Ineo ngari modzi mwa atsogoleri mugwirizanaso ndi mafumu itabwera ku project imene ndithu tidayira ndi manja awiri. Oditi ngani nekuti yatithandizanso kwambiri. Chifukwa kudzera maphunziro amene talandira kuchokera mu bungwe imene athanso ifeso ngakhale kumudzi kuthandizanso anthu ena. Oti pamene ndikunena pano ndoti panopa ndithu ana awiri amene anakwatisidwa kale alandisidwa ku mabanja ako ndithu ndi magulu amene amazakulu. Kusonyeza kuti ntchito imeneyi ifeyo ngati mafumu komanso ndi anthu akumidzi tikuyigwira bwino kwambiri.
JPAG started in 2011 in the district. Since then, there has been a great improvement in the lives of the girls in the district. For instance, we have registered a high number of girls continuing with their education. That's the primary and the secondary education. On top of that, there is also an intervention on education whereby girls who did not go to school or dropped in standard 1 or 2 they are doing complementary basic education. Only this year, we've enrolled over 374 girls in the STA massage only. And on the other hand, we talk of health issues. Girls are now accessing reproductive health services. There is also an improvement on their livelihood. The program has trained so many girls in livelihood skills. Over 20 girls have been trained in the bakery. Others have been trained in tailoring. We have girls who've been trained in electrical installation. We have girls who've been trained in a beauty salon. So if we take all these girls in the same area, in one area, it would mean that the lives of many girls have really changed.
One of the specific objectives of UN Joint Program on Adolescent Girls is to improve girls' education attendance in the project area. After hearing about JPAG through her village traditional authority, Jennifer enrolled in adult literacy classes, which is helping her to read and write. JPAG also aims at increasing access to sexual and reproductive health information and services to adolescent girls in the project area. And one of the ways it is doing this is through youth clubs.
We know that by the end of the project, there will be an improvement in this area whereby the girls will be empowered to make decisions. They even know the dangers, what are gender-related violences. So even though they may be married, but if they have that capacity whereby they could say, if they are abused, they have that capacity that they can say that, no, this is an abuse and I'm getting out of this marriage, because on their own, before the project, they thought that life, for them, life was normal. But now that they know they've been empowered, that they can demand their rights and say, this is an abuse and I don't have to be in this marriage because I'm being abused.
Akundipindulira nanga zina mbale olerayi pabeli kadzweni kango kali munthu atokalera umarani pachoberekera ndadziwa kuti akungonama mbale ankhanzayi china chonse animenye ngokhala ani mamunanga apange chakuti ayi ni mamunanga ndimangokhala ndipo ndazindikira kuti akandipanga chako ni nkhanza ndizipira kukula kuti akandipanga chako ni nkhanza ndizipanga mwakuti.
Another important objective of JPAG is to strengthen mechanisms for protection and management of sexual gender-based violence for adolescent girls in Chikwawa and Mangochi. Dave Jaffa is one of 10 victim support unit members who are helping girl victims in Chikwawa.
And nkhani zikamachitika kudzera mu victim support unit kwa atsikana achixepere timaitsata nkhani ndikuitengera ku victim support unit ndikuiunikira ubwino wake omwe tithe kwathandizira anatsikana. Ndemwe ichi anatsikana amene tathandizirapo akwana atatu. Mwanatsikanawo ndi omwe akukakamizwa kukwatiwa m'mabanja mwa makolo awo. Ndiye pano anatsikana ambiri adaunikira kuti kuli office ya victim support unit ndimene tingathe kukadandaula kuti nawonso athe kutithandiza. Ndiye akamabwera yonchija ndimene ife timatha kuwapatsa phungu oti panopa ni nthawi yabwino maphunziro apite patsogolo kwa anatsikana. Ndiye pano tikuyesesa kuti anatsikana ayese kulimbikira maphunziro awo ticholinga adzakhale atsogoleri amawa.
Sadly, only 1/3 of cases of violence against girls are reported. And those that do report, the commonest kind of action taken would mainly be to call the perpetrators for discussions, advice, and rebuke, or to ask for apology depending on the nature of the case. Legal measures to protect adolescent girls contained in the Prevention of Domestic Violence Act, the Wills and Inheritance Act, and Penal Code are rarely implemented due to lack of awareness.
Komabe tikamasira nkhanija apolisi timaonabe ngati satipasa chilimbikiso kuti tithe kuyendera limodzi kumbali ya nkhanza.
JPAG is also working towards improving adolescent girls' participation and leadership in youth and community development initiatives. Tisunge Sore is one of Jennifer's friends who she met at one of the JPAG girl youth clubs. She's only 18 years old and got married at 16 years old. Tisunge was trained under the JPAG entrepreneurship program and today has a small electrical business together with 2 other girls in Chikwawa.
nali munthu otosalira kwambiri komanso njira ndingapeze ndrama nalibe mavutikisisaso kwambiri ndiye kubwera kwa JPAG kuntaphunzira ntchito za manja pamene ndikugwira ntchito ndikola ngati moyo wanga upita ndikusintha pang'ono ndiye titapitirira mwina utsogolo ndikhoza kuzakhala pabwinonso komanso uzidalira pandekha.
Jennifer and Tisunge are some of the many girls benefiting from JPAG, but there are still many more challenges that need to be addressed.
Kudera ino atsikana amene ankapangidwa nkhanza pano pazasika tukhala bwinobwino koma kudera inawo nimene zopangira beza nkhanza koma kudera kwathu zatha.
With efforts to continue promoting girl education, access to sexual reproductive health services and information, and improving livelihoods of adolescent girls through small-scale businesses and literacy skills, more and more girls will be respected in society and their rights protected.
Alanga zakhausanga kuti ataphunzira atapita ku school. Asaduse njira amene ndaduse nanu ndikuvutika kale pano. Kweda khanda phunzira zonse nakakhala kulibe. Kuthaula kathawe dakhaneso lupanga zanga kuti ndisamale ananga ndine mangokhala.